Ya no debo pensar que te amé.
When a young artist rises to fame quickly, the vultures tend to follow close behind. Ariel Camacho formed his group Los Plebes del Rancho de Ariel Camacho during the year of 2013, at the age of 20. After tragically passing less than 2 years later in February 2015, Camacho's death propelled his group to stardom, with Ariel sadly not around to reap the benefits. What was initially formed as a band to support the individual talent of Ariel would go on after his death to continue performing under the same name. This is despite the rotation of now 3 new band members and his former record labels suing each other for the royalties. At what point does the use of a dead artist's name and face cross the point of honor and enter exploitation? Although Ariel died in 2015, his shadow very much remains. Ariel was born July 8, 1992, to Father Benito and Mother Ronalda, a humble farming family. He was given the birth name of José Ariel Camacho Barraza and was reported to be full of love and music from a young age. As early as preschool, his family recalls him taking an interest in music and dance. Camacho was brought up in rural Sinaloa during an era in which regional Mexican music was beginning to attract serious commercial success. 92 would be the same year that Sinaloan legend Chileno Sanchez was murdered, just an hour outside the birthplace of Camacho. Ariel was especially fond of the guitar, and after receiving one as a gift from his father, his family claimed that he never put it down. It was his paternal grandfather that would give Ariel his first nickname, La Tuya, roughly translated to, "You've made that guitar yours." It is claimed that Ariel began seriously singing at the age of 12, and shortly became friends with Cesar Ivan Sanchez at middle school, fellow guitar player and Camacho's eventual bandmate. Ariel's favorite musicians as a child were Miguel y Miguel, a hometown duo that were famous for their dueling vocals and the use of the traditional 12-string requinto. Ariel appreciated both their technical skill and the image they portrayed of rural ranchers. Camacho sought out the services of Omar Burgos to play the accompanying tuba. The inclusion was seen as unusual, but their music maintained traditional elements, bringing new life to the Serrano genre. The Serrano style evolved at the much older Norteño genre into its own distinct rural variation. Serrano music hailed from the northwestern Sierra mountain ranges of Mexico. Traditional accompaniments include a 12-string guitar and guitar-like instruments named the Baja Sexto, 6th bass, and Baja Quinto, 5th bass. Ariel modernized these elements by swapping the mix for a 12-string guitar, a 6-string acoustic guitar, and a tuba to cover the lower octaves. Omar's addition to the group made them complete, but it seems that even at the height of their fame, tension may have existed between the group. The group decided to perform under the name Ariel Camacho y los Plebes del Rancho, translated to English, Ariel Camacho and the Guys from the Ranch. By 2013, the group had begun to perform locally, seeking out a record deal from any labels that would listen. Now, the group's rise to fame is surrounded by controversy and, to this day, legal disputes. The very first instance of Ariel Camacho appearing on YouTube was February 10th, 2013, uploaded by account 8 Promotions GN. It was a solo video of Ariel playing a cover track that, to this day, remains relatively undiscovered. After a string of solo releases, some of which have been unearthed by Camacho fans and made popular, the first sighting of the group appeared on May 31st, 2013, uploaded by another relatively small channel. Oddly enough, this version would have less than 5k views, while the Dell Records version, uploaded almost a year later, has 42 million views to date. Dell Records would end up being an important figure in the Camacho story, but more on that later. The trio would crop up over social media throughout the rest of 2013, yet seems that they would only release 3 studio tracks, each with accompanying videos. All tracks and videos shared the same thing in common, the association of JG Music, presented clearly in the beginning of each video. JG Music, or sometimes referred to as JG Entertainment, is a Mexican-based record label. Finding exact information on the company is difficult, and after repeated attempts to reach out to the company for an interview, there is no word back. Although their social media presence only started around 2016-2017, based on Camacho's videos, it appears that they're operating as early as 2012-2013. The label was founded by Jamie Gonzalez, who at that time was working in America. Based on an interview he gave with Pepe Garza, he indicates that Ariel reached out to Jamie over email during late 2012 and asked for help in developing and producing an album. Gonzalez had seen Camacho perform live previously, and he knew that he was talented. Jamie also claims that the idea to include tuba over bass was his idea, and that Ariel had initially pushed for bass in the traditional Sereno style. Gonzalez was a former musician that turned to the management and production side. As luck would have it, 2012 would be the same year that Jamie would encourage his 13-year-old son Christian to start composing lyrics. Jamie apparently had a keen eye for talent. His son Christian would break out in his own right during January 2017 and is now a sizable figure in the regional Mexican genre. The group began touring around the Sinaloan state, now mostly playing originals written by Camacho himself. Early social media videos seemed to focus on Ariel and Cesar's guitar ability and chemistry between each other, as their talent was clear without a full accompaniment. The group released 2 albums during 2013, with a second release recorded and produced by JG Music. It was obvious that the more budget and opportunity the group was given would only stand to benefit the quality of the music that they were delivering. On December 30th, 2013, a YouTube channel named MP3 Culiacan 2 would upload a live version of a track by the group titled El Karma. Although the recording was not perfect, as soon as Camacho's opening vocals cut through, it was clear to see that they had a hit.
Así era el agua caliente, después venía Culiacán.
Sadly, it seems that some of Camacho's lyrics were destined to become true. 2014 would be a whirlwind year for the group, and one that would invite interest from all sides. On March 11, 2014, a YouTube channel was established under the name Ariel Camacho. That same day, the channel's very first video was uploaded, simply titled Ariel Camacho El Karma. From the song to the video to the group's image, it seemed like something the genre had never seen. The very next day, the group uploaded 2 more videos of professional level quality with no mention of JG Music or any affiliation. The group's momentum slowly began to build, and by April 2014, they had an undeniable buzz. Oddly enough, by April 10th, 2014, a version of El Karma was uploaded to YouTube by a user named J. Adrian Vasquez. This time, the video was branded by JG Music and was said to be directed by Mario Chavez and written by someone named El Diaz. Citing a 2015 Pitchfork article, Karma Comes Back to You Hard, the database of performing rights organization BMI attributes El Karma to one Priscilla Ruby Roca, an apparent relative of the mysterious figure who collects his royalties. The same article claims that El Diaz is actually an individual named Diego. Additionally, Roca also collects royalties for songs likely written by El Diaz under the names Diego Roca and Diego Avendaño. On April 30th, a little over a month and a half past the debut of El Karma, it appears that Ariel and the group had taken up new affiliations with the much bigger Dell Records, based out of Bell Gardens, California. On that day, 5 songs and videos of Camacho's were uploaded to YouTube, now donning the Dell Records logo. Rubbing salt into the wounds, El Karma was even re-uploaded by Dell Records with the existing JG Music watermark, where it still lives to this day as the most popular version on the internet. This would be the early signs of a long-going conflict between JG Music and Dell Records. The exact reason why Ariel left JG Music and joined Dell Records is unclear, although the opportunities available at Dell Records must have undoubtedly been leagues above. Dell provided the trio unprecedented distribution, reach, and the opportunity to collaborate with established artists like Grupo Fernandez. Jamie Gonzalez was even featured in a video uploaded by Dell Records following the passing of Camacho, where he was mentioned to be his manager. This is a likely indication that although Ariel and the group signed with Dell Records in 2014, he still valued and respected the opinion of the owner of his former record label. However, the relationship between Jamie and Dell Records seemed to live and die with Camacho. Dell Records was founded by Angel Del Villar in 2008 after previously running a fencing company in Bell Gardens, California. The decision to enter the music industry may have been met with success after his discovery of Gerardo Ortiz in 2010, but the founder's past is far murkier than his public image of charity and savviness portray. In fact, when current Californian Congresswoman Lucille Roybal Allard gave a public statement in Congress during May 2017 supporting Del Villar's character, I'm not sure if she knew his full past either. Both Angel and his family business, Del Steel, had countless instances of litigation and civil suits as a result of some business deals gone sour. Angel's history also includes multiple suits including the Department of Child Services and is believed to be ex-wife. Doing a preliminary search of cases involving Del Steel, there's an incredible amount of activity from 2006 onwards. This includes breach of contract, contractual fraud, fraud with no contract, multiple collection cases, mortgage foreclosures, wrongful termination, and an unlawful detainer case. When looking at Dell Records specifically, the amount of lawsuits and civil suits are downright surprising. A common theme throughout the cases centers around trademark disputes around the rights of ownership between former artists, including Luis Coronel, King Lil G, Gerardo Ortiz, and even Ariel Camacho y los Plebes del Rancho, but more on that later. On September 23, 2014, the group would release their first album on Dell Records, El Karma, titled after their hit from the summer. When the album initially came out, some reviews labeled the songs as a bit repetitive, with all 14 tracks following the same formula of a requinto, an acoustic, and a tuba to play the bass lines. Despite the similarity to some, this was Camacho's ode to tradition, and would bring an undeniable authenticity to his work. Within weeks of their release, the group had already reached incredible milestones. Concert venues progressed from bars to nightclubs to live television. It was easy to see that the group was led by the young face star Ariel, who at this point still had his braces. On January 30th, 2015, the trio played a sold-out show at Las Pulgas, Tijuana. Camacho's shows were tangibly different now, playing to sold-out crowds and rabid fans that had his songs already memorized and would sing along without missing a beat. By all appearances, the three members seemed to get along great with each other. Although they were undeniably a group, the friendship between Ariel and Cesar was one that existed past just the music. They were two childhood friends that both came up together from humble beginnings, and their dedication to music was finally paying off in fame and fortune. At the end of the day, they had the opportunity to share the excitement and thrill of becoming star musicians together, yet no good times last forever.
Ya no debo pensar que te amé. No, ya no debo pensar.
While attending the 2015 Carnaval de Montecito, Camacho spontaneously hopped on stage to perform his rendition of the hit El Karma. This would evidently be the last living footage of Ariel Camacho. Ariel himself posted to Facebook that he was headed to Angostura for a concert the next day, so it's likely that he decided to make the hour-long drive home in the early hours of the night. While traveling along the Angostura La Reforma Highway around 2 to 3 a.m., Camacho was driving a 1994 sand-colored Honda Accord with 4 additional passengers in the car. It is suspected that the vehicle was speeding excessively and that Camacho was potentially inebriated. This was put together based on the discovery of skid marks as long as 80 meters and the revelation that Camacho had previously been in an accident during August 2014 as a result of driving drunk. Ariel and Melina Duran would succumb to fatal injuries from the crash and pass away immediately. Julio Valverde would pass away later in a nearby hospital. Shirley Tabazon and Maria Guadalupe Felix would endure through life-threatening injuries and remain the only survivors from the accident. The crash occurred at this bend in the highway, and there's no evidence of any foul play. The social media era provided an extra level of insight into the incident and an added level of sadness, as you could see the group react to the news in real time. There was an incredible outpouring of support for Ariel and his family after his death, and his popularity reached heights never seen before. His funeral is an incredible sight, with his closest friends and family serenading the fallen star and paying their respect to a musician taken far too soon. Although El Karma reached number 14 on the Latin billboards the month before Camacho's death, it would skyrocket to number 1 during the second week of March. Additionally, he would have 2 more posthumous number 1 hits, 11 top 10 hits, and 17 songs in total that charted. The group's success marked the first time that a traditionally styled song reached number 1 in over 5 years, and major Latin recording labels took notice. The group's revitalization of traditional regional music was no longer an anomaly, it became a viable commodity. So much so that Dell Records announced that they had decided to continue the group past Camacho's death with an entirely new vocalist and continue to use his name as an honor. As early as March 4th, 2016, Dell Records released an entirely new album under the name Los Plebes del Rancho de Ariel Camacho, now featuring José Manuel López Castro in Ariel's place. The value of associating with Ariel was so lucrative that Jamie Gonzalez decided to convince the reformed trio to leave Dell Records and follow him to JG Music under the same name. What follows next is a convoluted mess of lawsuits, name changes, and squabbling over the right to carry on Camacho's legacy. When the dust settled, 2 new groups were formed in their place, with José Manuel López Castro and Cesar Sanchez siding with JG Music, and Omar Burgos siding with Dell Records. In the current iteration, only Cesar Sanchez remains from the original 3. I have no doubt that Cesar has the most honest intentions with carrying on Ariel's legacy, and deeply misses his old friend, yet the continued use of Ariel's name, image, and spirit is something that feels sordid and wrong, and like a move motivated by money. I do not doubt that Ariel's parents have given their blessing, and appreciate the love and support from his fans, and for this, I am undoubtedly happy. As recent as September 28, 2020, Dell Records and JG Music were in continued litigation over the copyright ownership of Ariel's work and namesake. To me, I don't see these disputes as a defense of Ariel's legacy, but to the same effect as buzzards picking at a fallen carcass. Besides, it seems like Dell Records may have bigger problems to tend to as of late.